One, two, trying to get to my comments. Can't see nothing. Bear with me. I don't even know if anybody on here yet because I can't see anything. Trying to remember how to get to my comments while I'm on Zoom. Let's see. Okay, now I can see. Peace. Let's see. Journey, Emola, wishing everyone peace, abundance, and bliss in these tough energies today. Yes, indeed. Thank you. Peace to you. Amani Hendrick, peace. Trumpets, peace. I know this is impromptu. This is how I do. So appreciate y'all getting on at the last minute. We're gonna talk about some things. This is very much off the cuff. We're gonna give, let's see, we give people a couple minutes just in case a couple more folk want to jump on. Cause I'm not gonna be on here long. This won't be a marathon like the other night. Well, I think we were on here like 3 hours. She says, Amani said, okay, I can't see the whole comment. Um, yeah, let's give it a couple of minutes. Oh, said I had to run that astrology or hip hop back. Yeah, no doubt. Appreciate it. Let's see. Let's give everybody a couple of minutes. Or you know what? I might just go ahead and get going because they can catch it on the Trumper said fell asleep during the yeah, we was on here for a minute. Let's see. So the title is The Meaning of Life, Astrology, Metaphysics, and Etymology. And this is going to be like a brief little teaching segment. And it's going to give you just some insight into how my classes are going to flow, which this is not going to be encompassing of everything in a class, but this is like an introduction because on June 30th, I'm starting my classes up. I used to do metaphysical, astrological classes, and I'm restarting them on the 30th of this month. And the details are available on my site, 720astrology.com. You click on Sacred Teachings, and you'll see that the classes will be there. And you scroll down, you also see the bundle. And I highly recommend that if you want to take the class, which is only like, I don't know, I can't remember. It might be $14 a month. I have to go back and look. Let's see. It's like classes, the classes, let me see what it is. It is $14.99 a month to get some real edification. So yeah, that's just to let you know. And again, on that same page where you can sign up to participate in the classes, And these classes are astrology, metaphysics, esotericism, etymology, all of the above. So we get into all of it. Um, and on that same page, you'll see where you can get the bundle. And the classes will give you more opportunity to really dive deep into what all these things mean. And in that bundle, you also get my book, the Layman's Guide to Manifestation. That just reminded me what I wanted to read. Because in the bundle, I also offer my booklet. So you get the book, my 5 handouts, learning handouts. Um, you get the 10 tips for reading your own birth chart, and you get this booklet, 2020 and the World to Come. This is the old cover page I had on this when I first put this out. So it's going to look different when it comes to you. But I want to read something because I did this in 2020, and you know all the stuff that was going on in 2020. And I want to find what this part in the book where um, I'm talking about a conversation. Oh, yeah, it's in the beginning. I want to read you this because in this little discussion tonight, I'm going to reference the character or archetype of Eve, who you know appears in the Old Testament or the Torah. And so in this booklet, this first subheading is the revelations of Eve and the mysteries of life. And before we get going, I ask, like the video, share the video, and if you haven't yet, subscribe. All right. So this is how it begins, and I may have to play around with certain words just so we don't trigger the algorithm. This document was inspired partly by the vid-19 fiasco and a conversation I had at the barbershop. We'll start with the barbershop situation first, since it occurred before the shutdown. For a brief moment, this particular Saturday morning, the patrons managed to stray away all but momentarily from their discussion of sports to delve into why quote unquote blacks are in the predicament they're in. As is usual, when these types of discussions come up, the reason given for this sad state was the quote crab in the barrel mentality, end quote. Someone said something similar to quote, we don't support each other, end quote. Needless to say, I had heard just about all I could tolerate, so I couldn't help interjecting what I considered to be some reason. I suggested that instead of belaboring about how, quote unquote, we act, why don't we start by trying to define what life is? I pointed out there were 5 people in the shop at that time, and that maybe we should start by each person identifying what his idea of life was. My overall point was that we paint with broad strokes when we're talking, which means there is no real attempt or desire to find and act upon a solution. So as I posed the question to the room, no one gave an answer. That exchange further confirmed what I already knew, that many people in the world are merely surviving and never once giving a serious thought to the meaning of their existence. Now let's go on to the vid crisis. When media announced the lockdown in different parts of the country, people literally began to bug out. Stores were filled with hordes of patrons, and tissue paper, paper towels, disinfectant wipes, meat, chicken, water, and other goods were bought in excess. I personally witnessed people driving through parking lots at high speeds, and customers buzzing through stores with their carts about to run each other over. Now let's stop and think for a moment. What was the catalyst for these and other savage behaviors? It was that people felt that their lives were threatened. As I watched media stir the pot, fueling irrational emotions and people showing just how animalistic they can be, I began to ponder what I was considering at the barbershop. What is life to the average person? And when I say the average person, I'm not referring to income or social status. It refers to simple mindedness. Automatons come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. They're everywhere, all around us. For those of you who dare to see further and go beyond the mundane world that is spoon fed to us, let us now go on an exploration into what life truly is. But is that really possible? I argue that it is, and we can do so through the study of ontology and epistemology. The following is a simple explanation of what each means. Ontology. The root ontos means being, and ontology deals with the study of the nature of all that exists. Epistemology. The root episteme means knowledge. Thus, epistemology is the study of knowledge and how to reach it. So this is the opening into this booklet. And the subtitle is The Revelations of Eve and the Mysteries of Life. So I'm going to give you a Reader's Digest version tonight of what this book is going to go into. And I want to read from a book from an astrologer who um, he was an author in the 60s and 70s, Ronald C. Davidson, and the simple title is Astrology. See, this one you know you're getting real stuff because this was a time where they were just writing the books to get the information out, and this is not a great marketing cover, and so it's getting right to the point. So in other words, you go to the store now and find a lot of the newer astrology books, and they got these vibrant colors and the catchiest title, which it makes sense. You're trying to get people's attention, but this is just straight down to the meat potatoes. Astrology. The first line is the most important line of the book. The purpose of living is to discover the purpose of living. If you don't read nothing else in this book, that right there is the most profound and simple statement that you could think of. The purpose of living is to discover the purpose of living. Now, that's our opening volley, all right? Because now we're going to go to the whiteboard and I want to show you the most maligned character in the Abrahamic religions, because she, or this character who we have come to associate with being a woman. And that's the other part of the travesty, is that this archetype has been so diluted that it's been relegated down to being a woman, and then a maligned woman, when these characters are not actually talking about actual people. The characters are talking about states of consciousness within the reader. It's like the movie the never ending story, where the boy discovers that what he's reading about is actually about him. So they put so many tricks in the trick bag when it comes to these scriptures. Um, and what we want to do is break them down to their as close as we can to their absolute value to extract the real esoteric meaning. And that is the importance of etymology. Etymology is not just to be saying stuff to sound smart. It is the root of magic because con- um, how do we comprise a word? We spell it. We take a series of letters and we spell them to form a word. Spell. We speak through what is called grammar. And grammar comes from the word grimoire, which means magical spell book. So if you misuse language, you can cast spells on yourself, on your lineage, and as a collective, we can cast spells on our collective reality by the ignorance of what words really mean. That's the importance of etymology. And so it was bad enough that they put the stain of being evil or wrong or quote unquote sinful on women. But what's even worse is that the character that they use to associate sin and wrongfulness with women actually does not technically represent women. Let me show you. Let's go to the whiteboard. This is why we have to study. Do you think it's the words that no, intent is second. The word, you must know what the word means first, because if you don't know what the word means, then the intent has been set for you. So we're removing the emotion behind the usage of language, and you get down to its rudimentary meaning, because you can have the best intentions in the world and be casting spells on yourself. So you need to have intent, yes, but first you need to know what you're saying. Because what happens is we can get caught in a milieu of words and using them and building um, realities around something that really wasn't what we thought it was. So we have Adam and we have Eve. We have come to associate Adam as man, and then we associate Eve as woman. Okay. Then we get into these quagmires and arguments about they trying to say that a woman came from a man, and you can bypass all of that by looking at what does the name mean. Adam means man, but it's not talking about a gender. Adam means man. Um, I don't think. No, this is not a think. Um, when we talk about the foundation of words, it when you the foundation of a word is as important as your DNA. So you wouldn't say, I think that's my mama. You say that's my mama because she carried me. I have her DNA. She birthed me. So when you trace back a word, you're tracing it back to as close as you can to its mother. And that removes the thinking, and it is all about knowing. Etymology gives us a knowingness, and it removes the guessing, it removes the thinking, it removes the emotion and the opinion. Okay. That's why it's important. Adam means man, but man is not referring to gender, it is referring to a race. And by race, we're not talking about ethnicity, we're talking about race as in humans. Man is human or original human. Okay. Now, Adam also means ruddy, and ruddy means red, which is a clue to its reference to blood. So we're talking about blood, the blood of man. Adam also means earth. And Adam becomes earth when you add the ha on the end, which is spelled Adama. So earth. Earth is also symbolizing the body. Okay. And the body is lifeless until breath is blown into it. Now, this is where Eve comes in because Eve comes from the word in Hebrew, she is Chava, and that is a ket, a va, and a hey. Okay. And Chava, and in certain, if you in certain larger cities, you might have a Chava restaurant, or they pronounce it Kava, the hard C, Kava. And Kava or Chava means life. This is what Eve really means, life. Out of the man or the race or humans, life, the blood, life, the body, life. So Eve enlivens the shell. Adam represents the shell, and Eve is the spirit or breath that gives the shell life. So when we believe this story as it is taught, we are really casting a spell against ourselves because we are condemning our own existence. We're condemning our own breath by believing the story, even if you are going against the story in the way you believe it, as to say, that is, they're trying to do blah 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 and put down the, even if you take that stance, you are still casting a spell against yourself because you're not getting to the essence of what she or it or these archetypes really represent. That's why you have to, and it's multi. I'm just giving you just one layer. These are multifaceted. We're talking about mythology. Mythology is, it encapsulates all sciences. Okay. And it was expertly coded by a people who were wise and studied and learned, not thousands, but millions of years ago when these were crafted, these archetypes. Okay. So Eve is life. All right. So I want to show you something else. Hope this making sense to everybody. Um, so bless form example is a tough word to say because yeah, instead of bless, we just replace that with bliss because bless means to bleed and bliss means favor. So all you gotta do is replace the E with the I to change the That's the subtle change in the vibration from blessed to bliss. Um, okay. So Eve as Hava, okay? So in Hebrew, letters have numeric value, and each Hebrew letter is a whole world within itself because each letter requires other letters to form it. So Hebrew shows us worlds within worlds. Okay. So that's why we don't want to negate it. Okay, when we're dealing with um these characters in this book. So her name Hava adds up to 19. Okay. Now, if you reverse her name numerically, numerologically, what we're doing by reversing the 19 and 91, it is just like Aries and Libra or any other complementary signs. What you're doing is you're getting a reflection. Okay. So 19 would be one state. Let's say 19 is like Aries. 91 would be the reflection like Libra, i.e., a relationship. What happens in our relationships is a reflection of where we are in our lives, where we are in our sense of self and how we project ourselves. It will reflect in who we are in relationship with and how that relationship unfolds. I'm just using that symbolically to show why we consider the reflection of a number, which will be that number reversed, because the Hebraic letters and their numeric value gives us a resonance. Everything's a vibration. And so if I send 19 this way and I get an answer from 19, it's going to be 91 coming back because it's reversing itself. Uh yeah, if you trumpet say so when someone sneeze, that's what we say. In my house, I've created a new culture of language. It's bliss you. Um, okay. So a word that encapsulates this 91 vibration is uh mem, nun, and aleph. You know, Hebrew is written from right to left. All right. So this word I've just written is manna. It's a M, N, and basically a A, manna. And those add up to 91. And look, even if I want to take it from and to English, you still have the letters, the same letters of man in manna. Okay. And that is Eve, reverse, reflecting back to herself. But either way, manna is divine substance. So when the book says, it says the purpose of living is to discover the purpose of living. Eve gives us, she gives us the synopsis of what we're here for. And in the reversal of the vibration of her name, which is 91, we get the whole encapsulation. In other words, this is a code in itself. Now I'm going to spell out the code. The code is this: the purpose of living is to be fed, because manna is divine sustenance. All right. Chava, get rid of this. This got to go. Chava is life. So in its reflection, we get its purpose. The purpose of Chava, life, the purpose of living is to be fed, which is manna. Now, what is that manna, which is divine sustenance or food? What is that food feeding? Let's open, let's see if anybody answer this simple question for me. Um, the so we got the equation here just by looking at Hava and manna, and we're creating a sentence based on this equation. And the sentence says, the purpose of living is to be fed, which would suggest that life itself is the food. And it's the food for what? That's my question. Peace, Black Butterfly. Peace, that crazy. Aries. Peace, Natalia. Um, is it life force? Yeah, but you think real simple. The purpose of living is to be fed, which means life is food, but it's food for what? I want y'all to think. Today is St. John's feast. Remember, couple of I think did I do a live on that, or was it live or record? I don't even remember. The summer solstice broadcast. We talked about John the Baptist. Well, today is his feast day, June 24th. Okay? And all of this ties in. All of this ties in. Life is food for the soul. That's what's being fed through your life. The human condition is providing sustenance for the soul. The soul comes for a series of experiences to be fed. That is what we're celebrating today with St. John's feast, St. John the Baptist feast. Let's go back and recap. Let's recap. Remember what we talked about. We said there's a circle. And when we hear the term Galilee in the New Testament, Galilee means circle. Okay? So here's the circle with the solar cross, the outline of the solar cross. This is the summer solstice. This is the winter solstice. This is the fall equinox. This is the spring equinox. Okay. Now, the summer solstice is associated with the birth of John. Okay. And John, today on the 24th, after we come out of the solstice, it's a celebration of his feast because he is born. And his birth represents the involvement in matter. Okay. And so for a soul, so John represents the soul being becoming involved in the material world. And for that to happen, there has to be a devolution, which is a fall. Okay. But John is also called the forerunner. All right. So by him being involved, we know that Christ is coming, and we're talking about the Christ energy. So John coincides with Eve. What Eve represents, life. If there is no John, there is no Christ consciousness that comes out of life. The Christ consciousness represents the soul being fed. John represents the human condition. The soul falls down into humanity in order to be fed. And then as it is fed, it then rises back up, which is the evolution. And that's why we celebrate the winter solstice, which means the sun. Think about it. The sun, which in Latin is soul. We're celebrating the fact that the soul is rising. It all ties in. So Eve, which means life, and her name, Chava, which has a numeric value of 19, which is reversed into manna, which has a value of 91, ties in with John and Christ entanglement, because this is basically showing you the purpose of the human condition. It is to devolve in order to evolve. Just making sense? I hope it is. So that's the thing. When we live in the class, you can ask questions. Um, now, as as John devolves from spirit down into human flesh, this would coincide with the fetus in the womb. Now, think about it. The fetus in the womb is positioned like a seed. That little outline I've drawn is a seed, and it could very well be a baby in the fetal position. What this represents is centripetal, meaning moving towards the center. It represents centripetal force or movement, coagulation. Okay. But I wish I had one of my, I've got a picture of the grand man, Adam Cadman, somewhere. Um, but I can't remember where, but either way. So let me describe it to you. The zodiac, another word for the zodiac is the grand man or Adam Cadman. And the grand man is basically shaped like this. These are the feet. These are the arms. And then the head will be back here. Okay. Let's give it a little hair so it'll look more like a little human here. All right. So basically, it is the complete opposite of the centripetal seed-like representation up here above it. The grand man is unfolded, which would represent centrip centrifugal. Okay. So centrifugal means to unwind or to expose. And so the head of Adam Cadman is Aries. The feet of Adam Cadman is Pisces. So whereas here, Aries is here and Pisces is here, now they have unfolded themselves backwards. It is the true meaning. In other words, Adam Cadman gives you the true meaning of the book of Revelation because we are revealing what has been learned, what has been discovered, what has been overcome, what has been revealed, what has been uncovered. That's the revelation. And that's what the centrifugal force, which is what the Adam Cadman represents. You come here in this seed, coagulated, but the goal is to leave and to be fully dissolved. That's why when you see the pictures of the Baphomet, it has the left arm pointing down and it says coagula, and the right one pointed up, it says solve, solve coagula, solvent, the breaking down, coagula, the coagulation, the binding. That's the human condition. And that hideous looking statue is the same thing that I just drew here that represents the devolution, that is John, and the evolution, which is Christ. Solve coagula. And this is still talking about the purpose of living, to solve or break down the coagulate, to die empty. And you die empty by knowing thyself. That's how you die empty. That's the goal, to leave this plane empty, to empty out the vessel by knowing thyself. And that is part of the way of breaking free from the wheel of samsara or the wheel of reincarnation or just the hamster wheel. Man, know thyself. Man, know thyself. Over and over, the ancients left us. Now, there's a story. Um, there's a story in the New Testament, and it is right before the Christ figure is going into Jerusalem. And he is met by Mary of Bethany. Let's erase this. Bam. He's met by Mary of Bethany. Again, you always look at the names. Whenever you see a Beth in scripture, that means house. And whatever comes after it is going to be house of. House of what? So Bethany is going to be the house of Aeneas. Let me make sure I spell that right. Anaya, I'm sorry. House of Ananiah. Okay. Now, Ananiah means the poor, the unripe. All right. Now, remember, when the Christ figure goes into Jerusalem, riding on the two asses that I talked about in a previous broadcast, and we talked about how those were two stars in the constellation of Cancer. Um, so this is before the character is going to be crucified. All right. Now, so here we have towards the end of life, we have Ananiah, Mary of the house of Ananiah, which means the poor, the unright. At the beginning of the life of the Christ figure, he comes through a vessel named Mary, and he's born, and she is of Bethlehem or Bethlehem. Bethlehem is house of bread. So look at these astrological clues they're giving you. House of bread. Okay. So the house of bread would be, I should have stopped and asked first, but I'm going to go. House of bread would be Virgo. Okay. Then that means the opposite of the house of bread, which Virgo is the harvest, would be what's the opposite of a harvest? To be poor. Okay. So the house of Ananiah is Pisces. Okay. Pisces rules what part of the body? Pisces rules what part of the body? I'm gonna go to y'all. This a softball right here. What part of the body is associated with Pisces? Come on, you astrological scholars. Come on, this is an easy one. What part of the body though is this Pisces associated with? There we go. Trumpets the feet. Okay. So what key role does Mary of Bethany play? She takes her hair and she takes it and dips it into some spikenard, which was, this very fine oil and was expensive. Okay. Dips her hair in the spikenard and she anoints the Christ figure's feet. Okay. So, for one, that story is telling you that she provides understanding and she represents the solvent or the centrifugal force, meaning the essence is now going to be released. The soul has completed its journey, it has received the manna that it needed to receive, and now it is ready to exit and continue its journey. And she comes and anoints the feet with spikenard. So check out spikenard. Let's look at what all spikenard represents. This is how this is how like Bible study, people be talking about Bible study. This is what it's supposed to be, to be honest. If it ain't this, you ain't studying the Bible. You going around learning nursery rhymes over and over. But real Bible study is some magical shit because you'll discover all types of stuff in these scriptures. You break them down. It is a magical book. So spikenard is a relative of, and I know a lot of you are probably familiar with this, it's a relative of, you probably heard of this, valerian root. Okay. And what do people take valerian root for? To help them sleep. So all of the herbs in this family deal in some manner around inducing sleep. Now, from what I found, spikenard is it promotes healing through sleep. It is antibacterial. And interestingly, it can treat foot fungus like athlete's foot. So it's antifungal. That ties right in with the story. Um, it can also treat anxiety and depression. It helps also with the respiratory system, colds, coughs, asthma, chest congestion, you know, the breath, the breath. The Christ figure is born in Bethlehem, which is the house of bread, and bread is a symbolic word for breath, for spirit, because when you're making the bread, it rises. The rising of the bread denotes spirit. So these things are coded. It says that spikenard also helps with liver damage. Now, the liver has always been a very um mystical organ. Okay. And when you get my booklet here in the bundle that you get, and you read what I say about, I take some scholastic liberty here, and I'm going to talk about the liver. I'm trying to find that section. I can't go into full detail about this liver, but when you see the word in Hebrew for liver, it's very interesting. The word sounds very similar to the word that was prevalent back in 2020. I'm going to spell it out. This is the Hebrew rendition of liver. Now look at that. Kabid. And the reason this is, there's a thing called I learned this from brother Abdullah Bey. When you change consonants, I don't know if this would fall into that. This one, I don't know if this would be considered a syncope because it's a different consonant, but when you're transliterating, there are certain letters that are considered to be bilabials. Labial means lips, mouth. So the V, the F, the B, the P, I think those are interchangeable. So this B can be interchanged with a V. If you put the V in there, you do the math. See, the liver in many ancient scripts or ancient or literature from original cultures, you'll see references to the liver being weighed or the liver being examined, the heart being weighed and the liver being examined, because the liver emotionally ties into anger. And so they want to weigh the heart to see if it's light as a feather and the liver to assess it to see if it is clean. Are you holding a festering anger? And the root of the word liver is live. So, in order for you to live, you must be able to control or to deal with your lower nature. So, that's a whole nother discussion. Get the booklet and read all the stuff in it. But either way, spikenard, from what I read, has properties that help to heal the liver. So here's this, what is represented as feminine energy, which would uh which would be mercy, kabbalistically mercy. There is some mercy that is shown, healing at the end, so that this energy can be released, so that the task can be completed. This whole thing is showing you in different aspects what we got to do in life. You know, overcome our lower nature. How? By not ignoring it, acknowledging it, not trying to suppress it and act as though it ain't there. Trying to act as though we don't have this lower nature and it doesn't permeate. And the more we try to ignore it, it gets louder and louder. So we have to integrate it. And then it's the understanding of what the whole path is in the first place. That I'm only here to do work in essence for my soul. That my work I do is the manna for my soul. So it's a lot encased here in just Mary of Bethany taking her hair, dipping in a spikenard, and rubbing the feet. I want to show, let's see, can you kindly link the booklet? The let's see if let me see if I can get the booklet is part of the bundle. It's part of a bundle on the and that's the that is if you go to my site 720astrology.com/ sacred teachings. And if you just want to keep it simple, just go to 720 astrology and click on what we offer. It'll be a section that says what we offer. Let's just do this. Mm. Well, I'll do it at the end. I'll show you at the end where it's at on the um something else I wanted to show. Uh the other night I didn't have my tree of life and I tried to draw this hideous and I can draw. Let me say that for the record, but boy, that was uh let me find this. I just scanned it so I could have it. And now I gotta find where okay, there we go. Uh boom boom. Okay, I'm gonna y'all bear with me for a moment. I'm trying to get this pulled up. My computer is where is it at? There we go. There we go. Let me try to share here. Okay. Boom. Okay. Can y'all see that tree of life? You're welcome, Wasim. Can y'all see the tree of life? I know this thing is running slow because it's a lag time between the two. Let me know if you can see it. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna assume y'all can see it. Okay. I just want to show this very briefly. How this schematic is laid out at its most simplest. Okay, thank you, thank you. Its most simplest form. When you think of the creation story in Genesis, how many days? It says seven, right? 7 days. Um, and on the seventh day, Elohim rested, right? So let's show the seven here. Let me get another color that'll show up better. Let's do red. Okay, here are the 7 days, starting 6, 7. Those are the seven. Okay. And then here we get down to here, which is Malkuth. And sidebar, Malkuth, when we spell it out, is, if I can remember, it's I want to say it's a calf, Malkuth. Let me see, that's 4, 20, 50, 90. I'm missing some Malkuth. Oh, Avah. What I've just spelled out is Malkuth, which is the name for earth. Okay. And you notice here it says the kingdom. Okay. Now, when you go to scripture, you go to Matthew's, it says, seek ye first the kingdom. Okay. These scriptures are Kabbalistically and astrologically constructed. It's not by happenstance that it says, seek ye first the kingdom. Okay. And the kingdom is the lowest part of the tree. It's Malkuth. It is the realm that we're in, Malkuth. Seek ye first the kingdom. All right. Now, but then you go to Luke and it says the kingdom is within. Now, remember, when we talk about Malkuth as it correlates to earth, it is not just talking about earth, the planet. Remember, Adam, when we add the ha and he becomes Adamai, also refers to earth. So when the Holy Bible or the Helios Biblios or the Sun Book, when it says seek ye first the kingdom, kingdom is associated with earth, earth with Adam. That is the same as saying man know thyself. It's the same thing. Seek ye first the kingdom. Man know thyself, because the kingdom is earth, the earth is Adam. And side note, the earth also means more, because more means land, Lord of the earth. But that's another discussion. All right. And Malkuth numerologically adds up to 496. Now let's reduce that. 9 and 6 is 15. 15 and 4 is 19. So we could also insert seek ye first Eve. And this dispels any notion that Adam and Eve are not the same. As in, we don't have to get into any wars between I'm on team Adam, I'm team. This is why we study this stuff at this level. Because kingdom, through its numerical resonance and through its association, gives us both Adam and Eve. Y'all picking up what I'm putting down, I'm hoping. And so the 7 days of creation, Here is Saturday, Saturn. Here is Wednesday, which is Mercurius. Here is Tuesday, because severity is Mars. So, or in Spanish is lunes, martes, martes. So this is Tuesday. Sunday, the sun, Tifereth is Sunday. Victory associated with Venus. Venus is Friday, because Venus is also associated with Phrygia, where we get Friday from. The moon, Luna, is Monday or Moon Day. And sphere 8, Splendor, is, oh, I said that wrong. This is Wednesday, because this is Mercury. And Mercy up here, this is Jupiter, which is Thursday. Pardon me. So this zigzags, and what this tree of life does, this is how it's the astrology. It's following the planets as far as their distance from the earth. So in traditional astrology, Saturn would be the farthest. So it starts here, Saturday to Jupiter, Jupiter to Mars, Mars to the sun. Then it goes Venus, then Mercury, then the moon, then down to Earth. So this steps the energy back down, um, dealing with their distance to the Earth. You know, the moon's the closest. So therefore, Yesod is the closest to Malkuth, which is the Earth. Then the next is Mercury. Then the next is Venus. Then, if you know about astrology, Mercury is never more than 28 degrees from the sun. And Venus is never more than, oh man, I think she's no more than 48 from the sun. I want to 45 to 48. I can't remember. So you see there, that's why they're right there close by Tifereth. And that's the zigzagging energy down to earth. So that's the astrological significance of the tree of life. And what we're doing by being fed properly through our human experience and us allowing ourselves to go down into the classroom and learn as we are supposed to so that we can rise out. Remember what I told you when we did the summer solstice broadcast? I said Saturn, which coincides with the Tropic of Capricorn, is called the gate of the gods. And Saturn's up here at the sphere 3. I can't the third Sephira. That's the word I've been trying to think of. Sephira. That's the singular of Sephirith. All of these are called Sephirith, plural. But Sephira is the singular. So the third Sephira, which is Banah and associated with Saturn, is opening us up to the upper Trinity. I got too much going on. Too much, too much. So when we get up here to Banah, this is the gate of the gods because that's the upper supernal, the Godhead, the triune, which is what we're striving towards. And then beyond that is the divine feminine, which comes in triplicity. Ain, Ain Sof, Ain Sof Divine energy moves in threes. You see that? You see this constantly played out on this tree. Three, three. Okay. And then this is the kingdom down here. But the rest of them are moving in threes. That's how energy unfolds. And there's more that we'll go into, like in the classes on theosophic addition and theosophic reduction. And it's all dealing with three, 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 three. Three is perfection because three overcomes the duality that we live in this world. Our world is built on bipedal reality because we need the duality to function so that we can find the higher cause above it. But until we can find it, we live in duality. So again, the overarching purpose of life is to be fed, and life is the food for the soul. Now, that's just an overarching phenomenon that we're talking about. Now, the challenge for each of us is to figure out what's the right combination, what's the right ingredients, what's the right recipe. How long do I bake this dish and prepare the right dish for my sustenance for me to eat? And this is part of what your birth chart can give you indication of, because your birth chart will show you your contract, show you your contract, such things as the North Node and your sun, your moon, your rising sign. Where is Chiron? Where are the outer planets? Because the outer planets hold us to our contract because they are not concerned about what we think we're supposed to be doing from the human perspective, because they are dealing with beyond things like Lilith in the chart, um, Vesta. I mean, there's so many things to look at in the chart that give you indication of your contract. And when you understand your contract, then you have a better idea of what dish you need to be preparing as the divine manna to feed your soul through the life experience, which is Eve. Hope this is making sense. Okay, episode of Matlock. So that's going to just about wrapping up. I think I think that sums up what I wanted to share this evening. Once again, you see in the chat, I've got, if you want to join my classes that are starting on the 30th of June. Now, these classes will be live via Zoom, but if you can't make it, you don't have to worry because they'll be recorded and you'll get a link to view the class um, even after it's completed. So I'll probably have it um, on YouTube. It'll just be unlisted so that only the people who are class members will have the link to view it. Um, Lisa said, "Do you cover? We will get to yods in the class. Yes, we will. I think I even so a yod is comprised of two quincunxes. Okay, a quincunx means 2 points are 150 degrees away from each other. Now, all of you all who are taking in this information through whatever interface you're on, you basically have a 180-degree relationship with me right now because you can see me, you can hear me. Okay, so we are virtually eye to eye. Now, if there's a quincunx, that means you could hear me, you know I'm here, but you can't see me. So it's like if I got off camera and kept talking, you're like, I can hear him, but I can't see him. So it causes um uh almost like a interruption in transmission because you're not getting the full context of our engagement. And what happens often is this plays out as the 2 points are in elements that don't complement each other. So that makes them difficult to find common ground. Now, when you have a yod, there is one apex, and then there are two quincunxes. Let me just do it. Let me do this real quick. Just since you brought it up, let's do this real quick because it's some stuff just don't make sense just talking. It's better just to show a visual. Waiting on my thing to come up. Okay. So let's say we have the sign of Cancer here. Okay. And let's just draw a wheel. And let's say that Cancer, this is Gemini, and then this is um Taurus. So let's say we've got Saturn at 20 of Cancer, and we have um let's say we got Mercury at 20 of Taurus. And over here in Sagittarius, let's say we got the sun at 20 of Sagittarius. This right here would be a yod because it's two quincunxes. I'm trying to find me a straight line I can draw. Okay. This will be a quincunx right there. And let's get a there we go. And this one would be the hell. How do I undo that? It's not what I want. Yeah. Oh man, I'm trying to get this thing. Okay. Okay. Now that is a yod, meaning you got two quincunxes. Okay. And then at the base of the triangle, we had these 2 points that would form a sextile. So that would mean, in essence, that Saturn and Mercury understand each other because they are in a sextile to each other. All right. But the problem is they are being triggered by the way we express ourselves, which is the sun, which is in Sagittarius. So the way the sun expresses itself does not line up with um the way we think and and the boundaries that we and the way we approach our thinking, meaning we may be perceived different than the way we actually think and move, maybe completely they don't line up with each other. So we may express these big ideas, this grandiosity, but really we ain't that we express. We may be showing the world this image, but really we just really conservative, a lot more conservative in our thinking and how we act behind the scenes, but we have to present this. So then we would have to figure out, how do we marry these energies? And so what happens is the point that's at the top which is the apex, which would be the sun right here, to some degree, we would have to trust the confusion that comes up around where we're led based on this point at the top of the triangle. So, in other words, when you have a yod, you have to trust your inner ear. You have to trust your inner eye. You have to walk blindly down some path at some point because they don't line up to where it's going to be laid out for you. Because they don't line up from an elemental standpoint, angularly, they do not see each other. So although those two planets at the base of the yod, they understand each other. There's a wild card in the mix. Yes. Yes, it's also called the finger of God. That's right. That's another word for yod, finger of God. So think about it. Finger of God, fate. When you say finger of God, it means the hand of God in the mix. So it ain't me. So the finger literally is the point at the top of the triangle, the apex, because it's the one that does not line up with the other two. Some people don't like that word faith because it sounds too religious, but it really does deal with faith in its true essence, which means fidelity. And fidelity means trust. So wherever you have a yod in the chart, it questions, what do I trust? And the word trust, fidelity, also comes back to what is my truth. And sometimes following your truth is not going to be a road that is paved ahead of you. You have to go down a road that's rocky, bumpy, and you have to trust the inner ear, the inner eye. Journey said, but does that make sense, Lisa? That's just a quick Reader's Digest version. But the yards can be complicated just in your life. You know, the, they can create confusion. And with a yard, you have to allow time to study what you what has unfolded. That will also give you direction. Journey said, what days and times for classes? So the classes are going to be on Sunday. I'm still the time is probably going to be around 2 p.m. Central. One between 1:30 to 2 p.m. I'm still ironing it out. Central time. So that'd be 2:30 to 3 Eastern. Um, and they'll be every other Sunday. So 2 Sundays a month, and they'll be recorded. So if you miss a class, you can always go back. What days and times for classes and how do I get the bundle? So the bundle, let's do this. Let's do this. Let me find my site. Okay. First, let me stop this and let me get this site queued. So I'm going to show you real quick. So you go to the site. Let's share this to I think what I are y'all seeing see what y'all are seeing because I'm okay. Okay, it's up now. Okay. So this is the front page of the site. What is going on? Hold on. I got such a lag time over here. I'm trying to make sure it's showing up for y'all on the screen. Peace, Faye. I don't know what's uh let me just stop this. Okay, I don't know why this thing is opening all these windows, but if you go to the site and just click on uh what we offer, you'll see the at the top it'll say what we just hover over what we offer and you'll see it says sacred teachings and click on sacred teachings. And when you do, it's going to show the you'll see the introduction, the blurb for the classes, and then when you go down, you'll see the bundle. So yeah, Wasim said a portal to infinity. I don't know what the hell. There's like the mirrors at the carnival. But yeah, just go to the site. You'll find it. What we offer. Hover over that, and then you'll see everything else. So that's gonna wrap it up. I want to post this. Let's see. I'm gonna put it one more time for anybody who might want to join up. Get the bonus. Of course, I'm also available for private readings through my website. I got a host of readings. So there's a lot to help you along your journey, and it's solid stuff. No fluff. No fluff. And with that, we're going to close it out. It's been a good session. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Remember, stay down till you get up, and when you get up, stay down and know the stars to know yourself. Peace.